After learning all the concepts and examples of both arithmetic and geometric sequences, let's talk about Module 7, solving problems involving sequences. Target skills or objectives. Pre-test muna.
A few minutes later.
Para sa Module 7, we are going to apply the concepts that we've learned from both arithmetic and geometric sequences. Ito ang problem solving involving sequences. Pero bago tayo mag-umpisa, let's talk about first the steps in problem solving presented by George Polya. First is to understand the problem. Read the problem carefully. Once the problem is read, list all the components and data that are involved. Ibig sabihin, isa-isahin natin yung mga given in the problem. At the same time, alamin natin kung ano yung tinatanong or hinahanap. In other words, what is asked in the problem. Number 2. Devise a plan or translate. When you devise a plan, you come up with a way to solve the problem. Setting up an equation, drawing a diagram, and making a chart are all ways that you can do. So dito, you need to translate the problem sa mas maiintindihan mong situation. Pwede kang mag-drawing ng diagram or gumawa ng table para mas masummarize ang mga kakailanganin sa problem. Number 3. Carry out the plan or solve. This is where you solve the equation you came up in your devise a plan step. So dito, perform na natin yung mga solution using the formula, using the different operations, and all the computations needed to solve our problem. Number 4. Look back. Check and interpret. Check to see if you used all your information and that the answer makes sense. Make sure that you write your answer with the correct labeling. Dito naman, babalikan natin yung ating problem and titingnan natin kung talagang nasagutan natin yung tanong. We can also check our answer para mas makita natin that we had the correct answer. And don't forget the label para alam natin kung ano yung sinolve natin. So these are the steps in problem solving by George Polya na pwede nating gamitin to solve problems involving sequences. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's begin with the problems involving arithmetic sequence. So here are some formulas that will help you as you go through this lesson. We have a sub n equals a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. And of course, for finding the sum of the terms of arithmetic sequence, we have these formulas. Example number 1. Chantal saved from her school allowance as follows: 15 pesos on the first week, 20 pesos on the second week, 25 pesos on the third week, and so on. How much was her total savings after 50 weeks? Now in this problem, we will start with the given. So ito yung mga given na makukuha natin sa problem. Umpisahan natin sa sequence form. Meron tayong 15, 20, 25, and so on and so forth. Observe na nabuo natin ay isang arithmetic sequence na may first term or a sub 1 na 15 at may n na equals 50. Bakit? Dahil kailangan natin ang 50 weeks in the problem. So since arithmetic sequence siya, therefore meron siyang common difference. Saan galing yung 5? Very good. From the difference between two successive terms. 20 minus 15 is 5. 25 minus 20 is 5. Now, what is being asked? That will be the total savings after 50 weeks. Therefore, we need the sum of the terms, or S sub n, or S sub 50 in particular. Let's look at the solution. Using the arithmetic series formula number 2, yes, we will be using S sub n equals n over 2 times the quantity is 2 times a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. And by substitution, we'll get this. By simplifying, we will start with 50 minus 1 is 49. Times 5 is 245. Plus 30 is 275. Times 50, yung numerator, is 13,750. Divided by 2, we get 6,875. Therefore, the total savings of Chantal after 50 weeks was 6,875 pesos. Can you also save money like Chantal? Let's talk about example number 2. After a knee surgery, your trainer tells you to return to your jogging program slowly. He suggests jogging for 12 minutes each day for this week. Each week thereafter, he suggests that you increase the time by 6 minutes per day. On what week will it be before you are up to 60 minutes per day? Now, we will be using a table to represent our problem. Kailangan natin yung number of weeks at kailangan natin yung number of minutes. So, sinabi na meron tayong week 1, 2, and so on and so forth hanggang sa kailangang weeks. Ngayon naman, based sa problem, 12 minutes yung unang week. Ano pa yung ibang given? We have the common difference 6. Dahil, we will be adding 6 minutes per day. So, 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 6 is 24, plus 6 is 30, and so on and so forth, up to the 60 minutes per day in a week. So, ang tanong, what is our N? Let's look at the solution. Anong gagamitin natin? Yes, the arithmetic sequence formula, a sub n equals a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. Now, by substitution, we'll get this. Now, let's simplify. Transpose 12 to the left side, magiging negative 12. And 60 minus 12 is 48. Now, divide both sides by 6. Kaya makukuha natin is 48 divided 6 is 8. Matitira is n minus 1 sa right side. Transpose negative 1, so magiging siyang plus 1. And 8 plus 1 is 9. Now, you will jog for 60 minutes per day on the 9th week. Now, it's your turn. Let's try this. Now, these are the questions or problems. A. If the number of tourists continue to increase in the same manner, make a table representing the number of visitors from the first month to 6th month. Letter B. Represent the data in the table using a formula. Use a formula to justify your data in the table. And letter C. What is the number of tourists for the first 6 months? How is it going? Are you getting there? Let's look at the solutions. This is for letter A, letter B, and letter C. Very good! That's a great job. Now, let's move forward. Let's talk about problems involving geometric sequence. So, gaya ng arithmetic sequence, let's recall the concepts needed. You might want to recall different formulas that you have used in solving the nth term and the sum of the terms of geometric sequence. We have a sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1 para sa nth term. At para naman sa sum of the terms, let's be particular with the finite geometric sequence. That is s sub n equals a sub 1 times 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r. Take note, r should not be equal to 1 para hindi mag-0 ang denominator. Anong mangyayari? It will be undefined. Now, let's jump right in. Example number 1. Lito is starting a computer club. He considers himself as the first recruited member. His plan is for every member recruited in a particular month to recruit 2 new members the next month. Suppose Lito is the only member recruited in the first month. How many members will have to be recruited on the 7th month? Let's look at the given. Sa given, ang sequence formed ay 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So, paano natin masasabi that it is a geometric sequence? Take note, the common ratio is telling us that every member recruits 2 new recruits. For every member, dalawa yung namumultiply. Now, meron tayong n equals 7, dahil ang hinahanap natin is yung number of members on the 7th month. So, ano yung solution? And ano yung formula na gagamitin? We will have the geometric sequence formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. By substitution, we'll get this. And by simplifying, 2 raised to 6 is 64. Therefore, there will be 64 members to be recruited on the 7th month by Lito. Are you interested to join? Example number 2. A group of mountaineers who climb Mount Asog during summer doubles every week. If there are 15 climbers for the first week of the summer season, how many mountaineers will there be on the 7th week? What will be the total after first 7 weeks of summer? Ngayon, let's provide a table. Kailangan natin yung week at yung number of mountaineers. And base sa problem, 15 ang first week. Ngayon, given yung R equals 2. Bakit R? Because ang sabi, it doubles every week, meaning it multiplies 2. So, to continue the sequence, 15 times 2 is 30, times 2 is 60, and so on and so forth, to the last week, which is the 7th week. So, yan yung hahanapin natin, finding the A sub 7. But we still have another question. What will be the total after first 7 weeks of summer? So, kailangan natin yung S sub 7 or yung sum. Now, let's look at the solution for each of the asked in the problem. Let's begin with the geometric sequence formula to get A sub 7. By substitution, by simplifying, we will get 2 raised to 6 is 64 times 15 is 960. For the first question, there will be 960 mountaineers on the 7th week. Let's continue using the finite geometric series formula. By substitution, we'll get this. Let's simplify. 2 raised to 7 is 128. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 128 is negative 127. Times 15, we have negative 1,905. Divided by negative 1, S sub 7 is 1,905. For question number 2, the total number of mountaineers after 7 weeks is 1,905. Are you interested to climb Mount Asog in Iriga, Camarines Sur? See you there! Ngayon, kayo naman. Ngayon, ito yung mga dapat sagutin. A. Make a table representing the number of adolescent girls who attend the lecture from Barangay 1 to Barangay 7, assuming that the number of attendees double at each barangay. Analyze the data in the table and verify using the nth term of geometric sequence. And last, because people who heard about the lecture given by the group thought that it would be beneficial to them, 5 more different barangays requested the group to do the lectures for them. The number of girls from these 5 barangays will increase in the same manner as that of the first 7 barangays. Determine the total number of girls who will benefit from the lecture. Now, are you ready to answer this? Please start. Now, these are the answers. Did you get it right? Job well done! Now, let's get to know more situations involving sequences. The fundamental tone of a string instrument, say a violin, is obtained by plucking the string. The first harmonic is obtained by lightly plucking the string at its midpoint. The second harmonic is obtained by plucking it 1/3 the way down, and so on. The n-1th harmonic is obtained by plucking it at a point 1/n the way down. What sequence is modeled by this property of string instruments? Tingnan natin yung sequence formed. 1, the entire string. 1/2 dahil yung sumunod ay midpoint. 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, and so on hanggang 1/n. Ang tawag natin sa sequence ay harmonic. Ano ba ang harmonic sequence? This is a sequence such that the reciprocals of the terms form an arithmetic sequence. Ano ba yung reciprocals? Correct. Interchanging the positions of numerator and denominator. In other words, just flip the fraction. Yung 1 is 1, yung 1/2 is 2/1 or 2, yung 1/3 is 3, yung 1/4 is 4, yung 1/5 is 5, and yung 1/n is n. That gives us an arithmetic sequence. So harmonic sequence is related to arithmetic sequence. Now let's have an example for harmonic sequence. In solving harmonic sequence, use the concepts of arithmetic sequence. Example, what is the 10th term of the sequence 1/2, 1/4, 1/6, 1/8, and so on and so forth? Given the harmonic sequence, kailangan natin silang isulat or i-transform into arithmetic sequence by reciprocating the fraction. 1/2 is 2, 1/4 is 4, 1/6 is 6, 1/8 is 8. Now, using the arithmetic sequence, makukuha natin ng a sub 1 or first term na 2. And since the problem is asking for the 10th term, our n is 10. And obviously, the common difference is 2. Now, let's find a sub 10 using the arithmetic sequence formula. By substitution and by simplifying, we will get a sub 10 equals 20. 20 is the 10th term of the arithmetic sequence. But for the harmonic sequence, the 10th term is 1/20. Para sa mga huling examples ng mga situations, problems involving sequences, let's get to know more of this. Interesting number patterns are all around us. Do you agree? The scales of a pineapple form a double set of spirals. When these spirals are counted, we see that there are 3 distinct families of spirals with usually 5 and 8, or 8 and 13, or 13 and 21 spirals. So sa pinya, may pattern. May 8, may 13, may 21. Likewise, the seeds in a sunflower head form 2 distinct sets of spirals that radiate in opposite directions from the center. An average head has 34 in one direction and 55 in the other. Smaller heads have 13, 21, and 34. So, ang pinya or pineapple at ang sunflower ay magpapakita sa atin ng mga patterns. Specifically, number patterns na natural na nakikita sa kanila. So, tingnan natin yung na-form na sequence. 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Anong na-observe niyong pattern? Meron bang common difference para siya maging arithmetic sequence? Or meron ba siyang common ratio para siya maging geometric sequence? Kapag rin-reciprocate ba natin, makakagawa tayo ng harmonic sequence? Ang tawag sa ganitong sequence ay Fibonacci sequence. Ano ba ang Fibonacci sequence? This is a sequence where each number is the sum of the 2 preceding terms starting from 0 and or 1. So isang special na sequence ang Fibonacci. Tingnan natin. Kung mag-uumpisa tayo sa 0, 1 at i-add natin yung dalawang nauna to get the next term, so ano yung sunod sa 0, 1? It's 1. Dahil 0 plus 1 is 1. Ngayon yung dalawa naman, 1 plus 1, it's 2. Next, 1 plus 2, 3. 2 plus 3, 5. 3 plus 5, 8. 5 plus 8, 13. 8 plus 13, 21. 13 plus 21 is 34, and so on and so forth. Ngayon parehas na siya dun sa sequence na nakuha natin mula sa scale ng isang pineapple at ng isang sunflower. Ano ba ang Fibonacci? Or sino ba si Fibonacci? This is Leonardo Fibonacci, also called Leonardo Pisano or Leonardo of Pisa. He was a medieval Italian mathematician who was the first European work on Indian and Arabian mathematics. Ito yung mga application ng Fibonacci sequence. Pwedeng sa nature, pwedeng sa outer space, pwedeng sa human body parts, or pwedeng sa animals. Now, Fibonacci sequence is represented by this diagram. Ganito ka-special ang Fibonacci sequence dahil commonly nakikita siya around us. Meron ka bang naisip or nakitang bagay na merong Fibonacci sequence? Please share your ideas!
Practice exercises.
A few minutes later.
Assessment time. Please answer post-test and additional activities. Congratulations! You finished all the modules related to sequences and series. Watch out for the new lessons for the next modules. See ya!